Hey everyone, it's Kristen, and I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of a deck. It's a tarot deck, and it's by Lori LaPage. It's called Tarot des Ozarks, and it's one of those decks that I would venture to say you've never seen anything like it before. Everything that Lori does is really completely unique and just fabulous. I love all of the things that she does. She's a fabulous artist and fabulous diviner. And so everything she creates just is really kind of ingenious, I think. So this is her deck. Now, I'm going to show this to you. I'm going through the major arcana first, and I'm just showing you the cards so you get a feel for the deck. This is the Fool and the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor. Now, what you're probably noticing, if you're familiar with a Marseille-based deck, I'm just going to keep showing you the cards. You probably see that these look similar to a Marseille-based deck. This one's the Lovers and the Chariot. But I want to point out that Lori always says this is not a Marseille deck, even though it looks very similar to it. And the reason why she points out that difference, I absolutely love the Hermit card and the brightness of the colors in this. Because with the traditional Marseille deck, it's really a deck of repetition in patterns, and you'll see that more when we get to the minor arcana cards. But in her deck, what's unique about it is that she's taken those minor arcana cards and she's kind of broken free from that repetition that you see. So each of the minor arcana cards to me looks pretty unique, and there are different colors and color schemes, so you get a different feeling and mood from those cards. Isn't that a great devil? I absolutely love the Tower as well. All that energy you can see with the lightning striking it. Someone said to me that these look like a Picasso tarot deck. I just really love her drawing style, art style. Now, I would not recommend this for a beginner. I would say it's probably somebody who's familiar with tarot. Some of these cards are numbered, and some of them aren't numbered, like in the major arcana. So if you don't know the placement or the numbering, if that becomes an issue for you, some of the cards, just so that you know, are not numbered. I really like the fluidity of the variances in the deck. This is the Suit of Wands. And as you can see, the images, like I said, are still structured similarly to a Marseille. If you were to look at a Marseille deck, you would see that the Three of Wands looks similar. But you'll see now with this one, we've got an introduction of color to the background, which is something that you would not find in a traditional Marseille. And again, with this card, you see another background color. So to me, this gives you more to go on. I think when you look at the cards, sometimes with Marseille, everything just looks the same to me. I have some Marseille decks, and I really don't usually read the minors. For example, you can see this little glowing ball in the center. Just because they all look kind of the same to me. But with this deck, I was really excited because the cards don't look the same. They feel different. They have a different vibe based on the color schemes and based on the way that things are depicted. Like for this one, it just looks like lots of little scribbles here. it looks like the flowers and things have disintegrated in that one. And then we have the court cards for the wands or batons. And so this is the suit of wands. And now we're going to look at the suit of cups. This is the Ace of Cups. And I really like how the colors came out. They really pop. They're very vibrant. And with this deck, I read these cards, the minors, even intuitively, where I think with the normal Marseille deck, I tend to read them more analytically, just looking at the numbers and what suit it is. But you see how this changes. Again, we've got a different background color. To me, this looks kind of like snow, the little white dots there. We can see how this changes. The cups look like they're filled with mud now instead of, you know, some wine or something. So we can see that even though these are all in the suit of cups, some of the patterns, again, look very similar to a traditional Marseille deck. The color schemes are different, and so there's a lot more to notice. And I think for that reason, it's easier to read intuitively. And that was the suit of cups. We're going to look at the suit of swords. And I would say this is probably my favorite swords card. I just love the color that's kind of like a mint green color with the red. That's just really beautiful. And again, with swords, you know, we're used to seeing this kind of curved. The swords are like curved and the batons are more those straight. But even though we have what looks like very similar patterns in all of the cards, again, the color schemes make them different. And so just reading it from an intuitive standpoint, you know, this one does not look as happy maybe as this first one, the second one. And then we can see with this one, it's black in the center. You know, what would that tell you? What kind of intuitive hit do you get from that? And then we see with this one a completely different color scheme, completely different back. But the center of the card is a nice bright yellow color. And then with this one, it looks like we've got a glowing spear in the center of the card. So again, I really like how it's each depiction gives us a different kind of mood. And these are the court cards. I love this guy with his big hat. And I do find, like I said, that there are little things like the hat and some of the different colors that you'll find that will have you reading this, again, a lot more intuitively than you might normally. My favorite suit in this deck is the suit of discs or coins, pentacles. I think there's just a lot of diversity in this particular deck with this suit. All of these different coins cards look so different. Like this looks like cherries to me. So there's just a lot of diversity, I think, with this deck. These look like I Ching coins to me. And this one looks like flowers, like sunflowers. This is also a deck that I have decided to use reversed as well. I don't typically use reversals, but I have found that sometimes turning upside down, you can see just a different theme or mood. I love this. It looks so structured, you know, compared to a lot of the other cards in this deck. So I have been using this with reversals very easily, I might add. And the last card is the King of Coins. So that is the Tarot des Ozarks, and that's a fabulous deck by Lori LaPage.